Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good day to all of you, my dear students. I hope that you all are doing well. I welcome you to the second lecture of expository writing. I hope that you remember the things that we discussed alongside the overview of the entire course, the things that we are going to cover. But especially speaking, we talked about the definition, the basic concept of the expository writing, what it is, what are the characteristics, what makes this form of writing different from the other forms of writing, and the significance of expository writing. So after covering all these things, I gave you a small hint of the things that we are going to discuss in the next lecture, which is today in our today's discussion. So that is correct. If you remember, we simply decided that we are going to talk about the essay. So this is going to be the target, but before I proceed ahead, I would like you to think for a while, just to recollect all the things that you have been studying right from your early classes, because this journey goes way back. You have been writing essays. It's not that something new that you are totally unfamiliar with. So think about all the things that you have been writing, and the paragraphs in which you have simply covered a particular topic, be it related to your own life or some phenomena, some concept that you are trying to explain. So all these things require a form of writing that is divided into paragraphs, and especially it's a form of writing in which the introductory paragraph as well as the conclusion paragraph are very significant. But that doesn't mean as though the paragraphs within which you are explaining the body are something that can be ignored. Of course, each paragraph or each section has its significance. So having said that, let us begin the journey and simply discuss what an essay is. So when we talk about the definition of an essay, we define it as a form of writing that is used for arguing, for analyzing, and for sharing perspective on a particular subject matter or topic. Now this topic can be something that is assigned by your instructor, or it's a topic on which you have decided to write the essay yourself. Then we call it as a structurally organized presentation of ideas. As I mentioned earlier, there are going to be paragraphs within your essay within which you simply write the introductory paragraph that is different from the others because it has the thesis statement. And the conclusion paragraph is also used for restating the important points of your essay. So every paragraph has a specific format, as a specific function that it has to play, and you combine it all together to simply form your essay. So each paragraph has a function. Then we generally define it as a form of academic writing, because generally we tend to use this form of writing in an academic scenario. You as a student will be, expecting an exam within which you will be given a topic or a question or a scenario within which you have to come up with an essay. So that can be a situation in which you can consider to write an essay, which is why we call it as an academic writing. And then we use it in different contexts also. Other than the academic writing, there are situations within which you have to come up with a non-fiction form of writing, which includes journalism. So when it comes to writing, a detailed explanation of some event, again you're going to use this format of essay writing. So that's why you see the word journalism to be written. Other than that, when it comes to using it in a fictional scenario, which of course is literature, where you see novels, quite famous novels. Many of the novels are the ones that you are familiar with also. So over here, again, you use this format for, narrating events or for explaining some things or events the way they took place. Okay. When it comes to the characteristics of essay, how you simply consider it to be a unique or a different form of writing from the other forms of writing that exist or that we are going to study in the upcoming lectures, we say that it has cohesion. Cohesion refers to the connection that exists between words within sentences, like logical and verbal flow of sentences and transition words. Like you're going to connect sentences with one another by simply saying like, first of all, then you're going to simply write the sentence. Then moving onwards, or you can come up with secondly, and then when you're going to come towards the end of the this essay, or let's say the paragraph, you're going to say in conclusion, or you can come up with words like lastly, last but not the least, but we generally say lastly. So these are the words, the transition words through which you are trying to connect all the sentences that you are trying to write. This is the way in which you create cohesion. And then moving onwards, if we talk about coherence, coherence is the logical connection of all the paragraphs with the central point that you have simply stated at the very outset. Central point is also reflected through the topic as well as the thesis statement that is there within your introductory paragraph. So you're going to find a logical connection of all the paragraphs with that central thesis statement as well as the topic. And this logical connection is called as the coherence. Ideas presented logically and verbally connecting with the central point, that is the thesis statement. So you'll be wondering, okay, sir, ये thesis statement का जिक्र कर रहे हैं. What is this thesis statement? It's coming out. You don't have to worry. Gradually try to understand all the characteristics that we are discussing. Then citation. What do we mean by citation? Does this thing ring any bell? Have you heard of this word before? Basically, the point here is that you're going to strengthen your argument by referring to other people's work who have also written some research paper, some essay or some report alongside some references that they have also provided. So when you refer to their work, you're going to mention the name of the author, their work, the title of their work, and when you refer to those authors' work, you use citations. And by referring to their point of view and opinion when you are writing their point of view as well as their names, you are avoiding plagiarism. Otherwise, what's the thing that is going to happen? If you claim that thing, or let's say if you talk about the stuff that they have mentioned but claiming it to be your own idea or perspective, you are becoming a victim or you are creating plagiarism, and that is a punishable crime. That will be discussed in the future lectures, but the point here is that that is something which you have to avoid. And the characteristics of the essay, this is one of the major things, that whenever you wish to refer to someone or something, you're going to cite it appropriately. Then facts and statistics, again the same thing. In addition to referring to other people's work, it's also very important that you strengthen your argument by coming up with some numerical data, some facts, some statistics, some numerical figure that you have taken from some other person's or researcher's work. These are the characteristics of the essay. Moving onwards, when we talk about the significance of an essay, the thing is that this thing or this form of writing helps learners, readers, writers improve their communication skills. But when it comes to communication skills, of course, we know listening and speaking are also pretty much involved in this thing. But this essay writing helps you build reading as well as academic writing. Moving onwards, it's a technique that is used to assess the background knowledge of a student. You know, when a teacher assigns you a topic, then he or she is going to assess to how much extent have you covered different facts and statistics that he might be expecting from you. How many authors have you cited within your work? So this technique is used for assessing your background knowledge. Then for developing critical thinking, like for when you have to share perspectives, or if you have been given a topic to analyze, basically the teacher will be testing your critical thinking or how you are connecting different points. A topic is assigned, and now how many things or how many aspects are you trying to cover to strengthen your own argument in favor of that thing or against that thing? All these things are, assessed through this form of writing. Then it also develops research skill. I guess if you have followed my point in the previous slide, you should be able to answer this question. How? Well, of course, when you will be, reading relevant research papers, when you will be finding something that are one way or another related to your material, your content that you are writing, when you will be citing it, so it will be strengthening your point of view, and that is how your research skills will also develop, which is a very important thing and a skill that you should know, that you should develop at this time of your graduation studies. And then it's something through which you will continue your lifelong learning. This essay is a technique that is going to help you everywhere for sharing your opinion, for analyzing a problem, for proposing some solution. This essay writing will always help you. If we proceed ahead, analyze this figure very carefully. This is like a general structure of any form of writing, and same is the thing over here. But when we'll go into the detail of this structure, you will find the devil. as we always say, devil lies in the detail. So you will find some technical things, some challenges that will become gradually and steadily easier once we'll see some relevant examples that I have in the slides for you also. So introduction, body and conclusion makes a good, well-structured essay. Starting from the introduction, this is a very important paragraph, like the first impression of everything. When we talk about the presentation, the first few minutes, the first slide gives the first impression, which matters a lot. In case of an essay, the first paragraph, if it's logically written, which has a strong thesis statement, and the things that are there, of course, will make it stand unique and stand out from the rest of the essays that teacher will be reading. So basically, first paragraph, then it begins with an attention getter. You will find this technique in the upcoming slides also when we'll be talking about the presentation skills, but the same thing goes here. The most important thing that you should focus when it comes to writing the introductory paragraph of your essay is to catch the attention of your reader, like doing something like this. When I'm doing something like this, or any action or any other thing, right now I'm trying to capture your attention because you're watching me in the video. You have to come up with something like this. Just imagine what are the things that I can do. There are some cues for you here in the slides also, but what are the things through which you can catch the attention of your readers? First of all, think about it, because we call them as hooks or attention getter. So these are of course available here in the slides also. If you are not familiar with the word anecdote, it's like a short story that you can tell, some surprising fact that you can share, a question that you can ask, or some quotation that catches the attention of your reader. So you can come up with any of these techniques depending upon the nature of the topic, the nature of your readers, their background knowledge. Simply decide which one of these techniques would be the best that you can simply incorporate within the introductory paragraph of your essay, because that is something which will be coming at the very beginning of your paragraph. Then it is followed by the background information for understanding the subject matter. Once you have used the hook or the attention getter, you're going to proceed ahead with providing the background information with respect to that topic, because now you caught them, now you caught their attention. They're all alert. They want to read more and to find out what do you wish to talk about. So now is the time to present all the background information. Then the introduction has a clear and concise, analyze and read the word, see the word very carefully, the thesis statement, which states the purpose and setting the direction for the entire essay. These are the two things. While talking about the preview of thesis statement, this is something which I will say, but overall a detail about the thesis alongside some examples are coming at, but this is something which your thesis statement should do. Direction and stating the purpose. And it should be there within the introductory paragraph of the essay. Without the thesis statement, no one will consider it as though it's a very proper kind of an appropriately written introductory paragraph. Thesis statement should be there, which means purpose should be defined, our direction should be given. So that means this is an appropriately written introductory paragraph. Having said that, let's proceed ahead. And just for a quick recap, these are the things that you have to keep in mind when writing the introductory paragraph. An attention getter, the background information and thesis statement. We're going to see the examples of these things, how you can incorporate it with respect to the topic that I have chosen. It's a generic topic. One way or another you will have some knowledge, if not detailed knowledge, you will know something about it, because one way or another this thing is something which affects us, which is discussed somewhere, every time, everywhere. Okay. Now if we talk about the attention getter, so as I told you, there are 3 to 4 techniques that you can simply incorporate depending upon the context, the topic and the nature of the audience. These are the 4 things that you'll have to keep in mind and select one that you think is the best, that suits that time, that is ideal. So think of a quotation, surprising fact, anecdote or any question. Now based on one topic, you will see how you can use these 4 techniques or any of these 4 techniques according to the situation. These are the 4 techniques with respect to the topic of global warming. the topic revealed in front of you. You will see some upcoming example with respect to that topic also for all the other sections that are part of the essay, but we are starting from the attention getter. So see, read the quote for me. Global warming isn't a prediction, it is happening. Now, when you will, simply state this statement at the very beginning, it is going to catch the attention, and they will say something really serious is about to come ahead in the upcoming background discussion that will be upcoming. Or if we simply restate it in the form of a question, have you ever wondered how a single degree rise in temperature can trigger catastrophic changes worldwide? After this question, then you proceed ahead with the background information. Readers will be anxious to read all the things or all the statistics that you wish to provide with respect to this question that you have just raised before your readers. Now talking about the surprising fact. Since the Industrial Revolution in 1700s, the level of carbon dioxide on Earth has increased by 34%. So now you have, raised a surprising fact. There might be slight error when it comes to the numerical data. There might be some changes because, numerics keep on changing. But focus on the manner in which the surprising fact is catching the attention of the readers. You can come up with any of these. And lastly, look at the small story that I am telling you right now. Imagine standing on the shores of a disappearing island where families are forced to abandon their homes due to rising sea levels. So now you are creating a picture within the mind of your readers. They are, because they are most actively engaged, fully active, reading the first few lines of your essay just to determine कि ये अच्छा essay होगा या बस okay है. So this is the point where you have to catch the attention, and when you will come up with some anecdote like this one, when you have created a picture in their mind, that means that now they will be anxious and will be interested to read what's coming ahead. So this is the way in which you come up with the attention getter or incorporating some good attention getter to catch the attention of your readers, and then proceed ahead with the background information, statistics, thesis statement, but all that stuff comes ahead. You got the idea of how to use the attention getter. Now after writing or selecting one of these techniques of getting the attention of readers, look at the way in which on the topic of global warming, background information is provided. Industrialization has led to the emergence of various environmental problems. Of all these, global warming is the most dangerous. The three dots over here are indicating that you can add some more information with respect to the way this global warming has emerged. Then global warming refers to the gradual increase in the average temperature of Earth. The threat is constantly increasing because of the negligence, and the world leaders have not been able to reach a consensus to deal with this issue. Now, global warming is caused by the burning of fossil fuels, and then you talk about some other, you're providing a preview to the things that are about to come in your essay. You will be talking about the causes as well as their impact gradually and steadily within each paragraph, but that is something that will come ahead. Right now you're, creating setting background. So you are briefly discussing the things that are about to come. So, global warming is caused by burning of fossil fuels and other things. This burning has increased carbon dioxide, and which has, resulted in the overall increase of the global temperature. Furthermore, nuclear radiation, deforestation have made it worse. So you are gradually and steadily discussing all the causes. And in this way, you'll continue adding some points that you consider most important, that you consider to be providing a preview to the things that you're going to cover in detail alongside statistics within your paragraphs. So you're going to discuss them gradually, briefly within the introductory paragraph, setting the situation for the entire essay. Continuing with the background, the transition will happen now into the thesis statement. You're going to provide a thesis statement. Background is in black. If global warming remains unchecked, the repercussions can be catastrophic. Ice poles will start melting, leading to rising sea levels. Pastures will turn into deserts, causing mass extinction of several endangered species. And in this way, you can, add a point or two also with respect to some other repercussions or impact of this global warming, the way it's going to affect the planet. But keep in mind, the most important thing is, यहाँ पे आपने इन चीज़ों का preview देना है, जो चीज़ें आप detail में discuss करेंगे alongside facts within the body paragraphs of your essay. What I want you to focus now on is the text or the sentences that is written in red. The undeniable reality of global warming, characterized by shifting weather patterns and escalating environmental threats, demands immediate attention at the individual, community, and global levels to secure a sustainable future for our planet. Have you just noticed the manner in which this text has been written? एक तो आप मुझे कहोगे सर ये रेड में लिखा है बाकी सब ब्लैक में था. I know that. शाबाश, उसके ऊपर भी well done. You have identified the difference. But I did that on purpose. ताकि आप identify कर सको कि this sentence is holding special significance with respect to the entire essay, or especially within this introductory paragraph. And before proceeding and highlighting this text once again, I want you to read the next sentence also for me. The essay would bring into light causes and effects of global warming, followed by practical measures to counter the situation. This sentence, the last one, prepares readers regarding the things that are about to come. Now you have, using the technique of transitioning, you are allowing your readers to understand the text or the information that is about to come within the upcoming paragraphs or the body paragraphs of your essay. But at this point, the introductory paragraph has come to an end. You can't extend it from this point. The introductory paragraph, you can't extend it. This is the point in which it has come to an end. अब आपने जो भी बातचीत करनी है वो होगी body paragraphs के अंदर, where you're going to state the causes of the global warming, or if you wish to talk about the global warming in detail कि कैसे emerge करती है, फिर उसके बाद stating and providing some paragraphs regarding the reasons or the causes, then talking about the impact of this global warming in each paragraph, and then proposing some solutions. But all that will be happening in the body paragraph. What I'm trying to tell you is कि जब आपने ये red text के अंदर thesis statement दे दी, तो over here you have like almost concluded the introductory paragraph of your essay. Now you have to say this essay is going to cover this, this and this, और वहाँ पे आपका introductory paragraph will come to an end. So यहाँ तक अगर बात की जाए, so what are the things that makes an introductory paragraph? You start from the hook or the attention getter. You proceed ahead with providing the background information, reviewing all the things that you're going to talk about in the body paragraphs. Then you're going to highlight or simply reveal the thesis statement as written over here in red, and you have to come up with a transitioning statement providing an overview or guideline for the readers regarding the things that are about to come within this essay. This is what makes an introductory paragraph a correct and appropriate introductory paragraph. अब अगर बात की जाए thesis statement की, why is it written in red? Of course, the purpose was just to make it stand out, because इसका introductory paragraph में होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. The most important thing is this is the argument, your point of view, your stance on the basis of which you are taking a position, you are taking a stand. This is your stance on the basis of which or around which the entire essay has been written. यानी अब आपने इस बात से digress नहीं करना. Everything should revolve around this thesis statement. This is the value of the thesis statement. I hope that you are getting my point. समझ में आ रहा है? Even if you are not able to see me physically, still say yes sir, because I want you to clarify your own mind. आपको पता होना चाहिए कि ये statement बाकी statements और sentences से कितनी different है और क्यों different है. This is your argument. इस पर ही based करता आपका पूरा essay होना चाहिए. इसमें आपने कहा है कि भाई ये causes हैं, इन causes की वजह से ये impact आएगा, वो causes बताने हैं, impact बताना है. और अगर आप इसमें कहते हो कि भाई the world has to stand up, take a firm decision to take special measures in order to control the situation, तो आपने वो solution देने हैं. But one way or another you are sticking to the point. You are, keeping your focus towards this thesis statement. That is how you can say among those characteristics that we have just covered कि आपका essay coherent है, central point से connected है. ये वो चीज़ है जो कि आपके essay को बाकी सबसे यूनिक और डिस्टिंक्ट करेगी. एंड आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि सिर्फ एक बच्चे का ऐसे पूरी क्लास के अंदर यूनिक हो. आई वांट एवरी वन ऑफ यू टू बी एबल टू राइट अ गुड attention getter, good background, good thesis statement, and then the transitioning towards the body paragraph. इसलिए मैंने यहाँ थोड़ा जोर भी दिया. So now talking about this thesis statement, okay, after all you will be selecting one you will be drafting one. So कैसे लिखनी है ये thesis statement? Well, it has to be a clear and concise sentence, should present the main argument or point of view of the essay, your position, defining the scope of the essay. Like मैंने जैसे कहा ना कि अब आपने digress नहीं करना, scope आपकी वो boundary है within which you are going to stay to explain all your points. Then it should present a road map to the reader also. जैसे कि इस thesis statement ने एक road map दे दिया, global warming, उसके causes, उसका impact, उसके solutions, road map is there for the reader. Then highlighting the theme of the essay, global warming. You will know क्या कुछ discuss होना है इसके अंदर. It is found in the first paragraph of the essay. So don't expect to write a thesis statement in the body paragraph or any one of the body paragraph that's going to break the essence. You're going to break the backbone. One of the, giving you a reference of biology, vertebra of your backbone. Don't break it, because this vertebra should be there where it belongs. So it has to be in the introduction section. When we talk about the characteristics, basically it's like a guide for the reader as well as the writer. Of course, when the writer has written it, now he or she should stick to this thesis statement while presenting all the arguments or opinions. And for the reader will be aware that all the things that now I'm going to read or see will be related with the thesis statement that I've already found with respect to the global warming or any other topic on which you are writing an essay. So it creates coherence. Does it require any explanation? आपको समझ में आ गई coherence से क्या मुराद है? It's a statement which requires analysis and facts to support it. So it's very important. That is why we are writing an essay on it. आपने तो एक दे दी ना statement which is debatable, as I have written in the fourth point also. A statement that is debatable, anyone can come up with a counter argument, anyone can come up with some facts to refute it, but you should also know some facts, statistics or data through which you are able to refute the counter argument presented before you regarding this concept that you have taken up to write an essay. अभी हमारे पास कुछ examples हैं और important ones जो कि awareness में भी इजाफा करेंगी, plus they will also guide us how to counter those counter arguments, how to refute them by strengthening our own stance. So it's coming ahead. Here are some example of thesis statement the way they are written. So it's like a point of view that you can simply incorporate within your essay, and these are like taken from first one, of course, relates with the theme that I have already chosen for this essay, but the second one is different, third one, fourth one are different. So read it for me, please. Human activities such as the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation are the primary drivers of climate change, and urgent action is needed to mitigate its devastating effects. So there is a point of view that has been taken within this thesis statement. Now all the points will somehow be related with the kind of activities caused by humans and the way they affect the temperature and what kind of action is required. So अब आप वो present करेंगे. The implementation of inclusive education policies positively impacts students with disabilities by fostering a sense of belonging, improving academic outcomes and promoting social integration. So अब आपका यहाँ पे stance है inclusive education policies, यानी कि even if there are people who have disabilities, if there are people who do not get access to education, if people come up with uniform and inclusive education policies, तो इस तरह के सारे students या young learners को opportunity मिलेगी कि वो भी किसी तरीके से ignore ना हो, उसमें से remove ना हो उस learning circle के अंदर से. This is your stance, और उस पे अब आप arguments देंगे, body paragraph के अंदर facts देंगे, मुख्तलिफ countries की example देंगे. So this is your stance that you have presented in the introductory paragraph. As technology continues to advance, अब ये एक और thesis statement है. Don't mix it up as though कि ये कोई एक paragraph चल रहा है. ये आपके लिए दो अलग पीछे slides के अंदर there were two separate examples from two different kinds of essay. Here is another example from this. This is like a thesis statement that can be incorporated into an essay that's written on technology and its effect on humans. So as technology continues to advance, the balance between individual privacy rights and national security concerns become increasingly complex, necessitating the re-evaluation of surveillance practices. Does it require any explanation? मेरे ख्याल से ये आपके लिए काफ़ी समझना आसान होगा. You will be well familiar with the fact कि somehow ये आपकी mobile devices use हो रही होती हैं for some sort of surveillance. ऐसे एल्गोरिदम्स होते हैं जिसके ज़रिए आपको वही दिखाया जाता है जो कि आप देखना चाहते हैं। सम उसके अंदर कुछ ऐसा डाटा भी इनकॉर्पोरेट किया जाता है जिसके ज़रिए द थिंग्स अबाउट विच यू आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड, उनको ऐसे तरीके से आपको प्रेजेंट किया जाता है, यू फील लाइक एज दो दिस इज़ समथिंग दैट आई ऑल्सो लाइक, बट पहले नहीं आप लाइक करते थे। तो उसको ऐसी चीज़ों के साथ मर्ज करके आपको दिखाया जाता है कंटेंट डिजिटल मीडिया स्मार्टफोन के ऊपर, कि जिसके ज़रिए आपके अंदर वो इंटरेस्ट डेवलप किया जाता है या मार्केटिंग की जाती है। बट कटिंग इट शॉर्ट, यानी कि देयर आर सम सर्वेलेंस प्रैक्टिसेस जिसके ज़रिए आपका हर वक्त डाटा एनालाइज किया जा रहा होता है। तो टेक्नोलॉजी के यूज़ के ऊपर ये स्टेटमेंट है विच स्टेट्स के भाई इंडिविजुअल के प्राइवेसी राइट्स भी एक तरफ हैं और नेशनल सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स भी दूसरी तरफ हैं। इन दो के दरमियान एक बैलेंस होना चाहिए। Do maintain the privacy of individual even if you wish to do some sort of surveillance regarding individuals who are manipulating technology, using media for their own purpose, creating negative thoughts within individuals or users. So this is not a good thing. There has to be a check on these things. The negative use of digital media should be checked, but individual privacy rights should also be maintained. तो इसके ऊपर ये एक थीसिस स्टेटमेंट है, तो इस पे ही बेस्ड करता अब आपका सारा आर्ग्यूमेंट होगा इन द बॉडी पैराग्राफ्स। टॉकिंग अबाउट द फोर्थ वन, यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ केयर while facing implementation challenges is essential for ensuring equitable access to quality medical services and reducing the financial burden on individuals and families. So अब आपके जो हैं वो यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ केयर क्या होती है और इसका बेनिफिट क्या होता है, इन चीज़ों के ऊपर बेस करते हैं अब आपके बॉडी पैराग्राफ होंगे। यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ केयर को थोड़ा आप इंट्रोडक्शन के अंदर बताएंगे भी। आफ्टर दैट यू आर गोइंग टू प्रोवाइड एंड टॉक अबाउट इट्स बेनिफिट, द challenges. You're going to cover all these things, benefits, challenges, then you're going to come up with your own stance in the conclusion. So, and you are going to restate these points. But now this is another kind of thesis statement also. 4 separate examples provided to you that can be incorporated into 4 different kinds of essay, but you should know by now how a thesis statement is supposed to be written. Point here is, एक argument होता है जिस पे counter arguments भी हो सकते हैं, लेकिन आपने अपने पॉइंट्स को ऐसे तरीके से स्ट्रेंथन करना है. यू शुड हैव फैक्ट्स, यू शुड हैव स्टैटिस्टिक्स, यू शुड हैव रेफरेंस टू अदर रिसर्च वर्क एंड यू आर गोइंग टू कोट देम, यू आर गोइंग टू साइट देम टू स्ट्रेंथन योर ओन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. गॉट इट? समझ में आई है? रुक इसीलिए रहा हूँ कि सोच दो समझ में आ रही है. चलो, वेल डन. Okay, when we talk about the body of the essay, as I already told you, is based on the stance that you have already taken in the introductory paragraph. Now you are going to explain each and every attribute that you have highlighted, or let's say you have provided a preview to it within your introductory paragraph. And now these paragraphs, body would be based on paragraphs, and each paragraph is structured in this form that it has a topic sentence, then it has some supporting details, and then it has a conclusion, and counter arguments are also there, which are optional. So more than one paragraphs of course are there depending upon the nature. Each paragraph elaborates a specific aspect that you have already provided a preview of, beginning with a topic sentence presenting the main idea, followed by some supporting details which can be quotations, credible quotations, facts, statistics to support your point. Got it? The body elaborate how the supporting detail strengthen your argument as well as the thesis statement. So these paragraphs and all the statistics that you will be providing within them, that will be the sole judge of determining how strong your thesis statement was. The manner in which these details are connected, I am on the second bullet point by the way. The manner in which the supporting details are connected with the thesis statement will determine and reflect how critically you are thinking with respect to connecting and building a logical flow in all the points that you are drafting within your essay. Then the conclusion sentence of your paragraph. We are not talking about the conclusion of the entire essay. ये याद रखना. अभी हम एक पैराग्राफ की बात कर रहे हैं जो कि बॉडी पैराग्राफ्स में से किसी एक पैराग्राफ के बारे में डिस्कशन हो रही है कि सिर्फ एक पैराग्राफ के भी एंड में कंक्लूजन होगा. Conclusion sentence reiterates the main idea of the paragraph and paves the way for the next argument. यानी उसकी तरफ आप ट्रांजिशन करने के लिए उसकी स्टेटमेंट बनाओगे at the end. Then talking about the counter arguments, they're also there but optional. But if you add these, you have to ensure to strengthen your thesis statement with evidence to refute that counter argument that you have provided. अगर आपको counter argument ऐसा लगता है कि वो भी एक significance रखता है, उसको एड्रेस करना ज़रूरी है। बहुत से लोगों की ऐसी राय है तो उसका रेफरेंस ज़रूर दें, लेकिन कम विद फैक्ट्स एंड स्टेटिस्टिक्स जिसके थ्रू आप उसको रिफ्यूट कर सकें। दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इससे आपका ऐसे और स्ट्रॉन्ग हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वन वे अनदर अगर आप सिर्फ एक थीसिस स्टेटमेंट के ऊपर पैराग्राफ्स लिख रहे हैं, दैट मीन्स टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट यू हैव नॉलेज, but it will not show that you have read other people who refute your opinion, who do not agree with your opinion. But if you quote them also as counter argument, and then you provide a counter argument to their argument, that will build such a confidence and trust in the mind of your readers that they will always be anxious to read more and more about your perspectives, your ideas, your thoughts. So counter arguments को add करने का ये फायदा होता है। तो ग्राफिकल फिगर आगे भी आपके लिए। When it comes to creating or drafting a paragraph, you have to remember that it should have a topic sentence, supporting detail and conclusion, counter argument being optional. अच्छा जी, read this body paragraph for me. Now if you see the word firstly, it indicates what? वही transitioning. Okay, now you're going to present your arguments one by saying first of all, and then you're going to provide one cause or anything that is creating or becoming the basic cause of global warming. Then you're going to talk about another cause by saying secondly, or moving onwards. You're going to use such transition statements. So firstly, the rising temperature leading to global warming are supported by extensive scientific evidence, and their impact on ecosystem is already evident. तो अब आपने एक टॉपिक सेंटेंस दिया जिसमें आपने कहा कि भाई एविडेंस हैं इस चीज़ के, जिसकी वजह से पता चलता है कि राइजिंग टेम्परेचर हो रहा है, एंड देन यू आर प्रोवाइडिंग सम सपोर्टिंग डिटेल्स। हाउ? अकॉर्डिंग टू द इंटरगवर्नमेंटल पैनल ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज IPCC, the Earth's average surface temperature has increased by approximately 1.2 degrees Celsius. The warming trend is primarily attributed to the excessive emission of greenhouse gases and so on and so forth. लेकिन देखो आप रेफरेंसेस दे रहे हो, सपोर्टिंग डिटेल्स में आप फैक्ट्स दे रहे हो, आप रेफ़र कर रहे हो, न्यूमेरिक्स दे रहे हो, आप मुख्तलिफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का रेफरेंस देते हुए बात कर रहे हो. दिस इज़ व्हाट स्ट्रेंथन्स योर पॉइंट. दैट्स हाउ व्हेन यू रेफर टू other sources and you provide a reference to these at the end of your essay also, this is something which strengthens your argument. यानी कि सिर्फ don't just rely on your thoughts, your ideas, or what you think or what you believe in. Provides facts, provide statistics. This is going to strengthen your point. This body essay is also a very important example of how a counter argument is incorporated and how you refute it. So read it for me, please. Some skeptics, who do not, let's say, agree with you, argue that natural climate variability is responsible for the observed temperature changes. So what's my focus? Natural climate variability is responsible for the observed temperature changes. However, it is crucial to note that the current rate of warming far exceeds natural variability and aligns closely with the level of greenhouse gas emission associated with human activities. तो आपने स्केप्टिक्स का हवाला देते हुए कहा कि उनका ओपिनियन ये है कि भाई ये नेचुरल ही हो रहा है, इसमें ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन का इतना ताल्लुक नहीं है जितना कि एक नेचुरल क्लाइमेट के अंदर जो चेंज आती है उसके नतीजे में ग्लोबल वार्मिंग हो रही है. लेकिन उनकी स्टेटमेंट देने के बाद आपने कहा कि इट्स क्रूशल कि जिस एक्सटेंट और जिस लेवल पे जिस पेस से ये हो रही है उससे हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि ये नेचुरल है, इसमें ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन शामिल है. एंड देन यू एक्सप्लेन योर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दैट वाइल नेचुरल क्लाइमेट वेरिएबिलिटी, अब मैं रेड वाला टेक्स्ट पढ़ रहा हूँ, does play a role in Earth's climate pattern, but the rapid and the unprecedented rate of temperature increases over the last century cannot be explained by just natural factors. और रिसर्च बताती है कि इसमें ह्यूमन इंड्यूस्ड ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशंस का भी कंट्रीब्यूशन है. So this conclusion is supported by temperature data, atmospheric observation and distinct fingerprint of human activities on the composition. So point is clear. आपको point समझ में आ गया. Read this paragraph black, red and blue. You will know कि किस तरह से counter argument भी डाला जाता है और counter argument को refute किया जाता है. This is the way you structure it. So you can do it in the body paragraph to strengthen your argument, and if you have some facts and statistics to refute, so that is going to add bonus into your essay, and the manner in which you're going to explain it. So as the effects of global warming intensify, it is imperative to understand the profound consequences it has on the ecosystem, biodiversity and delicate balance of our planet's natural system. ये जो blue वाला है, see the manner in which अब आप causes से और वो उस counter argument से transition कर रहे हो consequences की तरफ के, इस global warming के नतीजे में क्या repercussions और क्या impact आता है, and now you're going to talk about them in paragraphs one by one. So in this way you structure body paragraphs. Hopefully you got the idea. You can study it even further, but this example stands as a good way of explaining how you write a body paragraph. शुरू में आप topic sentence देते हैं, फिर उसके supporting details and then conclusion. Now we are talking about not the conclusion of a paragraph, but the conclusion of the entire essay. So in that case, when we talk about the bigger thing, that is the essay, the last paragraph acts as the conclusion of the essay. और इसके अंदर आपने एक चीज़ ज़हन में रखनी है, which is very important, and that is that you're not going to digress, you're not going to include something new, rather you have to keep your focus to the summary of the main points that have already been presented within the essay. You're going to restate these points, your point of view, let's say causes, effects, solutions, suggestions, and you're going to restate the thesis statement also. Nothing new as it's noted. It is used for creating, the fourth point is very important, fifth point rather, it is used to create a lasting impression on readers with a thought-provoking question, call to action and broader implication of an argument. तो इसका एक आपके paragraph rather आपके essay में होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. This is the place, just like the first paragraph I'll say. जैसे वहाँ आपने attention catch की थी, in a similar way, for a lasting impact, so that they may remember what your point of view was, your readers. And if you wish to encourage, persuade your readers to take an action, all these things are supposed to be done within this conclusion paragraph. Read the conclusion paragraph for me, please. In conclusion, so now using the transition, you are indicating that now we are summing up the entire argument built through the entire essay. The irrefutable reality, yani ke undeniable, reality of global warming driven predominantly by human action looms as a grave threat to our planet. So restatement of the thesis statement, ये आपका एक बहुत बड़ा important argument था जो कि आपने शुरू में कहा था, and then you will talk about the causes and the impact that is coming at. The evidence presented, including rising temperature, shifting patterns, dire consequences of the ecosystem, human society, underscores the urgency of our collective response. इस पे आपका focus था. Gradually आपने causes बताए, impact बताया और कहा कि भाई now we need to take a stand, we need to take a mutual action. As we stand at this position, it is evident that global warming demands immediate action, sustainable efforts at all levels, और इस तरह we can bring about a positive change. और अब मैं इसको छोटा करते हुए, cutting it short, I'm coming to the last sentence. The fate of Earth and generations yet unborn rest in our hand, and it is our responsibility to act decisively and address the catastrophic implication of global warming. तो आप उनको encourage भी कर रहे हो, आप उनको call to action भी दे रहे हो, और आप एक lasting impact छोड़ रहे हो through this paragraph by restating the thesis statement, restating the important point discussed, and indicating a call to action. This is how you conclude the essay. Hopefully you got the idea, and now I believe that you will be able to write very good, very argumentative, very cohesive and coherent essays. In case you thought that you have just studied the structure of the essay and it will be the end of the story, think again, because essays have types, my dear students, and you have to structure them accordingly. When it comes to the basic or the fundamental structure, of course it is the same, but you have to draft it in a way so that it fulfills the following purposes on the basis of which these essays are classified into types. So I hope that you remember this flower of essay and its types. Basically the petals are all the types that you have to remember. So we classify essay into these types, 10 types: definition, process, compare, contrast, argumentative, persuasive, cause and effect, critical, narrative, descriptive, expository, on the basis of which the course has also been named. So Other than the expository, there are types also that we will be discussing, but do remember this picture, because once you remember this, you will know which type of essay you are supposed to write. Let's proceed ahead and begin from the narrative type of the essay. So when you say the word narration or narrate or narrative, you are referring to the fact, right? Kahani, you are narrating events, and when you narrate events, so there has to be a temporal order, there has to be a logical sequence. Pehle kya hua, phir kya hua. So you expect all these things and you write this essay accordingly. Used for telling a story, for recounting personal experience, and it develops creativity as well as imagination. So it's one of those types of the essay within which you have the space for creativity as well as imagination. And when you are, given this space of creativity, so you have this space of applying literary techniques such as dialogue writing, analogies, metaphor, and alliteration. So I do not wish to, turn you into a literary writer right now, in which you are expected to, come up with a dialogue or analogies or metaphor or alliteration, just to give you some small hints. When we talk about alliteration, writers come up with such lines within which they use the same consonant in adjacent words, like cool car. So इसमें C का word दोनों words के अंदर आया है, ठीक है, C का letter. So this is like the technique of alliteration. Metaphor is like if I call you, you are brilliant. So आपके लिए, or you are a lion. When I say you, like you are a lion or you are a tigress. So I am not saying as you are brave like a tigress. I am calling you as a tigress or a lion. So this is like a metaphor. Or simile is a little different. You are as brave as a lion. इसमें आप कहते हो ना की तरह. There are references from Urdu literature also, जिसके अंदर there are words for such a thing, but over here we call it as similes and metaphors. Then used to emotionally engage the readers, provide lessons learned from experience. So there are examples for you that I have also written so that आपको समझ में आए कि what do we mean by this narrative form of writing. But you emotionally engage by referring to narration. You provide lessons from your own experience. It has a chronological structure, पहले क्या हुआ, फिर क्या हुआ. And basically if we talk about a structure, you set the scene in the introductory paragraph, body paragraph describe the events in that logical order, conclusion simply reflects on the experience, restating all the things that you have talked about. And the place or the kind of topics on which you can write a narrative essay is like your first day at university. Now you can write it also. A memorable orientation ceremony that I guess all of you had or some of you will have, and a trip that simply changed your life. So when you are going to write an essay following the same principle of catching the attention, then background, then thesis, then body paragraph and conclusion, where you talk about the manner in which all the events took place, you're coming up with a very good narrative essay. Description. The word describe is found in right from early ages in so many of our questions. Now you should know what this word description means whenever you are asked to write, especially a descriptive essay, because this is the kind of essay which provides detailed, vivid, sensory description of person, place, object, subject, or event, anything. So detailed description, and the focus lies on sensory description. So you are able to feel it through your eyes, even through your imagination, but somehow your experience will help you to recollect the image, recreate the image by reading the description of that thing for which you have written the essay or the essay that you are reading. If it's descriptive, you are able to create a picture within your mind. That's why it's called sensory description. So focus remains on the description, and you basically, within this type of essay, you use descriptive adjectives and action verbs. What do we mean by that? If you see the word descriptive adjectives written in bold, so beautiful, spacious, pristine are the kind of words that we call as descriptive adjectives. क्योंकि किसी को आप कहते हो यार that thing, that car is so beautiful, that park is so beautiful. तो एक beautiful का image park का आपके ज़हन में already मौजूद है. You have been to that place. So आपको समझ में आ जाएगा उस जैसा होगा. This उस जैसा होना means that sensory description is playing a part in creating an image within your mind. This is what the descriptive essay do. and then action verbs are also involved. Action verb ऐसे verb जिसके ज़रिए आप action को describe कर सकें, जैसे कि whispering या emerging या conquering. So when these words are used, so you are able to create an image once again of a conquest or the emergence of something, or of course whispering. So these things involve the special use of language, and these kind of essays can be written on topics such as favorite personality or some historical site or memorable farewell dinner, where you would be able to describe things, so that we can use our sensory experiences to create a picture within our mind. This is what the descriptive essay is. The expository essay, which you might be encountering a situation within which you are supposed to draft or write. So very important. The type of essay used to explain, analyze and clarify a topic somehow looks quite scientific because it requires analysis, clarification, explanation. These are the things that you have to keep in mind. You have to keep it academic, you have to come up with scientific language, because this is something which will be expected from you. You don't have to write it in the narrative kind of essay or descriptive type of essay. It is different, which is why it exists as a different type. So it's used by writers to demonstrate knowledge and expertise on some particular topic. So over here, you have to keep in mind that within this essay, you're going to avoid personal opinion, emotional bias that we tend to have in our general form of writing. Avoid all that. You have to be specific, impartial, just like a scientist. You have to write it in this way. Your focus should remain on factual information, to be neutral and impartial. Introduction will present the topic as a thesis statement. Body paragraph are going to provide the explanation in the form of facts and statistics, citing sources. Conclusion is going to summarize everything that you have provided within the body paragraph. This is what your expository essay will look like. Now look at the topics. Impact of AI on industries, effects of social media on academia, importance of renewable energy sources. Do you think कि इनके ऊपर कोई narrative essay लिखा जाए या descriptive लिखा जाए? I guess this kind of topic demands you to do some analysis, explain things, come up with counter arguments, then refute them by coming up with facts and statistics. So the topic will tell you which kind of essay is the ideal for handling such a topic, and these are the topics best for writing or drafting an expository essay. तो आपने analysis भी करना है, आपने explain भी करना है, आपने counter arguments को refute भी करना है और clarify भी करना है. Definition essay, used for defining a term and idea. वो तो एक dictionary भी करती है, क्या ख्याल है? Then why writing an essay on it? Well, this thing is providing a detailed analysis of a subject matter. ठीक है? Because dictionary provides a limited definition. Topic is elaborated after carrying out research to explore all its aspects and everything which has been said about. Like example topics आपके सामने लिखे हुए हैं. Freedom की definition as defined by different authors. Justice, identity. Now there is a lot of talk on identity, physical identity, digital identity. To an extent, I am doing some research on digital identity also, and I am able to provide quite extensive detail with respect to all its aspects and attributes. But the point here is you can talk a lot when it comes to the definition essay on any topic. ये आपके सामने कुछ concepts या examples हैं जिसके ऊपर you can write definition essay. Process essay. As the topic or the title itself of this specific type tells you, you're going to tell the process of something. That is why it's known as procedural essay also. Used for explaining a procedure, elaborating a series of steps to tell your readers how a task is supposed to be performed. And when you have to explain the process or procedure of something, you can also come up with visual aids such as diagrams, charts. You can use such a thing also for explaining the process essay. Now, if you look at the example topics, how to design a strong resume, so you can use visual aids. How to maintain balanced diet, again use of charts and other pictures, figures. How to change a flat tire, again flat tire की picture भी हो सकती है, and then explaining it step by step, or a video in case of a digital kind of essay if you publish it somewhere in digital media. how to remove malware from a computer, and so on and so forth. So अब आपको समझ में आ गई. Now when you will be providing the process, the procedure of handling something step by step, how to guides is the place where you can come up with process essay. Compare and contrast essay, as the title itself tells you, the type of essay used for comparing and contrasting two ideas, two concepts or subjects. Compare और contrast जब दोनों वर्ड साथ यूज़ किए जाते हैं, compare is more used for similarities, contrast is for highlighting differences. That's why we call it as compare and contrast. Used for examining similarities and differences, to gain profound understanding of the relationship which exists between them, and it helps learners to find and establish connection between two ideas. तो जब आपको दो ideas दे के कहा जाए कि इनके ऊपर compare and contrast ऐसे लिखें, तो you have to find a connection between them, and that connection doesn't mean that सिर्फ वो differences पर based हो. If there is something that is similar, तो आप बिल्कुल उसकी similarities को भी highlight करें. First paragraph of this compare contrast essay will present the thesis statement, जिसमें आप present करेंगे दोनों ideas. Body paragraphs के अंदर you are going to do a comparative analysis जिसमें similarities बताएं, then followed by contrast in which जब आप उनके differences बताएं. Conclusion paragraph के अंदर you are going to restate all the main points that you have discussed in the essay. And you can write this essay for comparing and contrasting EVs with traditional combustion based vehicles. Electric vehicles are gradually becoming common because generally we have like eco-idle, hybrid, but electric vehicles are, you know, the future, gradually coming in the market or quite extensively available in the international market. But the point here is you can do the comparison. Both are available. So for that you can write the essay. Then comparing novels as well as for economic systems, you know, we have communism, capitalism, so on and so forth. So you can do a comparative analysis of these things, these objects, concepts, and write a compare and contrast essay on it. Talking about the argumentative type of essay, well, it's used to present an argument or claim on a specific point, relies on facts instead of emotions to convince readers. ये point second बड़ा important है, especially with reference to the next type of essay that we'll be discussing. So remember that this type of essay focus more on facts that you are simply providing within your essay, for providing your own argument and claim that you have taken with respect to a specific point. Main purpose is to convince readers to agree with your point and accept your opinion. Provide clear presentation of writer's stance. Clear, comprehensive analysis of counter arguments is also important, because ये भी चीज़ ऐसी है जो कि इस argumentative type of essay का essence है. Writers avoid personal anecdotes. ठीक है? You tend to focus more on facts. Citations from relevant sources are also there and may include some call to action also. Basic structure क्योंकि same है, that's why I'm not going to the detail. Hopefully you got the idea. So let's proceed ahead and talk about the structure. Introduction presents the main argument in the form of the thesis statement, जिसमें आपका main stance आ जाएगा. Body paragraph are used to provide evidence in the form of facts and statistics, not going into personal opinion and emotional language because वो bias create करेगा. You have to stick to facts. And conclusion will restate the main points in summary, basically your stance as well as summary of all the points that you have taken, and CTA, call to action. Argumentative essay can be written on topics such as impact of technology on education, impact of social media on mental health, impact of artificial intelligence on workplace. So you can come up with some good argumentative essay, collecting some good sources to strengthen your argument, coming up with some counter argument to refute it, और स्ट्रक्चर वही रखें जैसे कि आपको मैंने ऑलरेडी बताया है. Persuasion. When your essay has persuasion more than argumentation, we call it as the persuasive essay. Quite similar to an argumentative essay, इसलिए मैंने कहा था कि दूसरे पिछले essay को गौर से उसकी definition या characteristics को समझें, आपको इसकी भी समझ में आएगी. Is used for persuading the readers to agree. वहाँ पे your focus was on facts, but over here this is like one side. Unlike an argumentative, this is a one-sided presentation of your stance, your opinion, and points that favor your stance. And opposing views are there, but very rarely. वो ज़्यादा argumentative के अंदर ही होते हैं. Over here, the manner in which the language is used is a little different compared with the manner in which argumentative essay is written. The main goal over here is to convince the readers one way or another through a variety of persuasive techniques के आपने reader को अपने साथ हर हाल में मिलाना है कि भी he or she should agree with my point of view. Focus on these examples very carefully. इसी वजह से I've written it in red and blue. The one in red is like the presentation of your perspective from an argumentative point of view, and the same has been written from a persuasive point of view in blue. अब बात free education की ही हो रही है, ठीक है, लेकिन when you will write it from an argumentative perspective, look at the way. While the idea of free education may seem appealing on the surface, implementing such a system would place an unsustainable burden on governments and taxpayers, ultimately compromising the quality of education. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि यहाँ पे एक थर्ड पर्सन ओपिनियन आपके सामने आया है जनरली. और अगर अब हम बात करते हैं परसुएशन की, education is a fundamental right that should be accessible to all, regardless of their financial circumstances. Implementing free education is not only morally just but also essential for fostering a more equitable society. तो ऊपर बात हो रही थी pros and cons की, है तो अच्छी चीज़, लेकिन इस पे गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर काफ़ी लोड भी आता है सारे को मैनेज करने में. बट नीचे बात ही सिर्फ इस चीज़ की है, फंडामेंटल राइट है, हर हाल में मिलनी चाहिए, irrespective of everything else. So in the blue text you can see emotional, you are emotionally writing that text compared to the manner in which you are argumentatively handling the same topic in red. So minor differences, but the basic difference is that in the red part or in the argumentative form of essay, your focus remains on strengthening your point of view through facts and statistics without any emotional appeal, without the emotional use of language. But in the blue part, or let's say the persuasive form of essay, you let your emotions help you write the essay, and your emotional appeal is quite evident. Another example is there for you also. Argumentative. Proponents of free education argue that it would increase access and reduce financial barriers for students, indeed. However, it is essential to consider the potential consequences such as reduced funding for schools and a strain on public resources. तो यहाँ पे बात ये हो रही कि फ्री एजुकेशन स्टूडेंट को फ़ायदा तो बहुत देगी, लेकिन स्कूल्स पे प्रॉब्लम आएगा, पब्लिक रिसोर्सेज के ऊपर लोड आएगा. तो दोनों की पिक्चर प्रोवाइड की, प्रॉज एंड कॉन्स दोनों बताए जा रहे हैं. नाउ सी द मैनर इन विच the same opinion can be persuasively explained. जब उसको इसी बात को persuasion के साथ लिखा जाए, think about the countless talented and motivated individuals who are denied access to higher education simply because they cannot afford it. Our society progress and prosperity depend on ensuring equal educational opportunities for everyone. तो उसमें pros and cons persuasion में एक तरफ चले जाते हैं, cons की बात ही नहीं हो रही. For one way or another, education should be provided to everyone. It's going to provide benefit to everyone. That's why we strongly support that education should be free. The blue text somehow, one way or another, adding emotions strengthens one point instead of looking at the pros and cons both. This is the difference that you have to keep in mind. So although so far you might be thinking that argumentation and persuasion are like one and the same thing, but there are differences. Now you know what these are, and you can go into the details to find more differences also. Cause and effect. The type of essay which highlights the cause of some phenomenon and its impact. So for that we use cause and effect. For exploring the causes of a specific phenomenon and discussion on this causes followed by the effect. And how do we write it? Introduction presents the phenomenon within the thesis statement. Then body paragraph are used for elaborating the causes and effects, and conclusion restates the point. क्या phenomenon discuss किया, उसके causes क्या हैं, उसका impact क्या है, and उसको आपने साथ ही अगर उसके solutions भी दिए, to restate all these things briefly within the conclusion paragraph. Transition phrases such as because, as a result, consequently are extensively used within this cause and effect, which is why it is written अलग से, differently. सब में यूज़ होते हैं, but the extent of their usage over here is comparatively more than the other types of essay. और कौन से topics? Cause and effects of air pollution, cause and effects of income inequality, cause and effects of stress on mental health. So these are the topics on which you can write a cause and effect essay. Critical essay. जब हम कहते हैं ना critical analysis or critique refers to critical analysis. Somehow it's more related with arts, humanities and literature, this form of essay. So used for providing a critical analysis, explanation, evaluation of a piece of art, can be a portrait, a picture, a book, a novel, a painting. For that we use this kind of essay, for critically analyzing that thing. Like you can write a critical essay with respect to this video also. How was it? Plus, minus. That's just one example. I'm not encouraging you to do that. That's just for your knowledge. So having said that, identifying strengths and weaknesses of a subject matter, you can write this critical essay. Used for reviewing books, movies, and basically when we talk about writing it, introduction has the thesis statement, presenting the subject matter for analysis and evaluation. You are going to use the body paragraph for analyzing things in the form of how was the plot, what were the themes in the work, characterization, how many characters were there, and which was the strong character among all, like the hero was strong or the villain, and so on and so forth. There are so many things that you can simply talk about. You can quote even textual examples while talking about it. So evaluation exists in the form of highlighting the strengths and weaknesses, and conclusion is going to restate all these points. When we talk about the example topics, it can be critical evaluation of any film, the application of symbolism. It's a technique that is used in a literary work where you use one thing to represent another. For example, if I can give you the example of white color, let's say white color can be, or rather it's a symbol of peace. Pigeon is used as a symbol of peace. Or giving you the example of traffic lights, red color is a color, but when you see it in a traffic signal, that means you have to stop. Okay, orange means get alert, green means you can go. So this is like symbolism, and such kind of symbols are used within literary piece of art by writers, artists, and so on and so forth. So having said that, we have simply concluded the journey, although it was a long one, and I hope that you have watched it in chunks, because only then you'd be able to digest it. We have talked about the essay, characteristics, significance, structure, as well as types. So the structure is like almost the same. You just have to, do minor changes according to the type that you are handling. And once you will know which type or what kind of topic it is and which kind of type does it demand, you will know how to draft your essay, and you will do an extensively nice job. I'm hopeful and I'm quite confident that if you go through this lecture, you will do great. So without wasting any further time, take rest. I'll do the same. Take good care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum.